Hey Bandidos, Tux here. Who'd you expect? Today I bring you the Notorious Sniper Build. It's fast, accurate, and has everything you need to take on heroic content with all directives. But is it the build or is it the player? Well,
watch this. And if you don't know, now you know. One shot, or one opportunity to seize everything you've ever wanted. In one moment, make it count. To capture.
you see that? Yeah, you don't need determined to do that. I'm telling you, it's built sick. There it is again. That was a headshot. Blind. That wasn't. That was our hand. That was blind, blind, blind. Let's see how many we can do. What's going on here?
America! Woo!
Playing like this is ridiculous, right? Well, I got good news for you. This build is tunable to your playstyle, and I'm gonna show you how to make it and how to use it. Before we jump into the specifics, let me just throw some high-level stats at you. This build, when it's fully buffed, is gonna give you 73,000 armor back per second. That's the base regen. When you get a kill with your weapon, thanks to preservation, you're gonna get 240,000 regen over 5 seconds, or 48,000 per second. Combine that with the build's regen is a total of 121,000 per second. And when we add in the heals from the fixer drone, that pushes us to 152,000 armor back every single second. I'm not done, hang in there. And we have 10% armor on kill plus 30% bonus armor on kill, which is effectively a whopping 480,000 armor on kill in addition to the regen. And we are really good at killing fast, which means we're healing fast too. And after all of that, we have 13% protection from elites as La Piece de Resistance for ultimate survivability. Let's get into the details.
Entering dog zone.
It all starts with sharpshooter. You're gonna need to run this because this is giving you breathe control, which is 25% faster acquisition of targets as well as stability. It's also giving you 25% damage and ammo regeneration, which is pretty important when you're running directives like Pistolero that limit your ammo. Don't worry, we have multiple solutions for that anyways. Now I'm running the Covert SRS. This is my favorite sniper in the game. It's fast and it's accurate and it's got a large mag. And then preservation. So that's 20% armor on kill. And since we're always going for the head, that's pretty consistent. I got the reflex sight for 5% more weapon handling. I got 10% stability and the Omega suppressor for another 20% stability. And then for the mag, I got the additional 5 rounds. That pushes us to 12. The skin is called Signet, which gives us that nice regal look. For my backup, I'm running the Nemesis. You got a choice here, but I'm using this to take down big heavies and bosses. And the D50 is really good to have on this build. Mine has expertise at 19 because I use it a lot. So I just rolled it up, but I'm running determined. Now I'm only using the pistol to acquire ammo from time to time. So you're gonna need this. But if you're playing from cover a lot, which most of you probably will, then you're gonna be generating enough ammo to run your primary weapons. And be sure to watch to the end because I got a lot of alternative options for you players that are still getting comfortable with sniping or that have a different playstyle than I do. All right, let's start with the mask. So I'm running 2 pieces of Golem, which is giving us armor regen. Not worried about the status effects. For the mask, it's not a very good one. I wish I had more armor on it, but it is what it is. I got weapon handling, headshot damage, and protection from elites. If yours is only 12% there, don't sweat it. Okay, my second piece of Golem is the holster, and that's weapon damage, headshot damage, and weapon handling. This is the Emperor's Guard. Named Murakami knee pad. Gives us 20% skill duration. Very helpful for both of our skills, especially since we're running directives. I got weapon damage, 1% armor regen again, so now we're at 2% armor regen, and headshot damage. This is a Dark Zone exclusive item, but you can get it by farming named item caches. These are really popular knee pads. Definitely have them on your list in every variation you can get your hands on. All right, for the gloves, I'm running my first piece of Bellstone, so that's giving us 1% armor regen. We're now at 3% armor regen. I got weapon damage, headshot damage, and weapon handling. My chest pieces is the second Bellstone for that 10% armor on kill. I got armor, headshot damage, handling, more headshot damage, and headhunter. This is critical. So headhunter is going to give you 1,250% damage from your last headshot killing blow. And so this is where all of the damage is coming from, this and the mechanic. And I'll show you the mechanics. Very important. If you ignore the mechanics, you're probably not going to be super successful with this build. So please stay tuned for that. The backpack is the memento. So this build is primarily designed for solo gameplay. So, you know, you could probably run it with a second player, maybe a third tops, but any more than that, you're gonna have to adjust your stats so that you get more damage out of it. So this is giving us 3 cores. I have headshot damage, and we're really playing into everything the backpack gives us. So when you have a full 30 trophies stack on your backpack, you're gonna get 30% weapon damage that's never disabled. You're gonna get 3% armor regen. So now we're at 6% armor regen, huge. And you're gonna get 30% skill efficiency. That's buffing your heals from your drone, as well as every possible skill stat for both your drone and your decoy, really big. And then of course, the way I'm playing, I'm also utilizing the short-term buff. So I'm gonna get 10% bonus armor on kill. We got 3 armor cores, so that's 30% bonus armor on kill. And then I'm gonna get 5% weapon damage on kill when I grab that trophy. We got 4 red cores, so 20% more damage on kill. Everything I just mentioned on the short-term side stacks. We can have 30, 60, 90% bonus armor on kill when we chain kill, which is really easy to do. And same with the weapon damage, 20, 40, 60, and so on. With this configuration, you should expect your build to hit somewhere around 13 to 14 million, which is enough to kill just about any elite standing in your way, unless it's a heavy or somebody with a helmet or a boss. Bosses are going to take multiple shots. And so if you wonder, how do I spend so much time out of cover with my headshot builds? And so if you wonder, how do I spend so much time out of cover with my headshot builds and not use a shield? Well, one, sniper rifles can't use shields. It's because of this little hidden mechanic that you can really exploit. It's not a cheat or anything like that. It's just something that I've noticed. And if you can take advantage of it, then you can spend a lot of time out of cover. It requires you to play fast. And so basically what happens is that when you get in close proximity of the enemy, like inside 10 meters, they sort of freeze. I call it deer in headlights. What they're doing there is they're acquiring you as a target. And for a sniper, that time feels like forever. It's like bullet time. The whole world slows down as this guy is trying to acquire you and start shooting. The time it takes him to do that, you could probably kill him 3 times over again. More importantly, he's dead before he gets any damage on you. But this guy's just standing there like an idiot. Again, right there. Did you see that? Big pause there. You see that? See that? I mean,
it's a homer. Abort! Don't waste a bullet.
Lifetime. Surprise.
Huh?
Let's power up. All day. Idiot. Dude.
Tell me how that made you feel.
Like an idiot!
Real quick on the skills, I'm using the decoy. It's really difficult to play sniper builds without the decoy. The decoy, if you didn't know, actually changes the AI behavior. So instead of being circus clowns, they start walking in straight lines, sort of like flies gravitate to shit, makes them much easier targets to take down. And then the other skill is the fixer. So having strong heals just keeps you in the action so that you can clear content really quickly. Our primary weapon, you need over 150% headshot damage in order to get the full buff out of the chest piece talent. We have 199%. Now this is really easy to bump that up, but it's plenty for what I'm doing. Here's a key stat that you're gonna wanna pay attention to. 90% stability. Stability is a factor when it comes to decreasing weapon sway. So 90% is really handy and helps us send out consecutive shots faster. Total, I have 35% weapon handling on the build. So here's our 10% armor on kill. The armor regen here is the base armor regen before the memento. So it's much higher. And then we have our 113% protection from elites mod. And also just keep in mind preservation. The 20% armor on kill doesn't show up here on your stats. Okay, first off, in order to be successful with this build, I need to show you the mechanics. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is use one of your heavy weapons, whether it's the Nemesis or the TAC 50, depending on your ammo situation. Now, I prefer the TAC 50. It's easier to use because you don't have to charge it. Anyways, you take out your first target, and then once you do that, just go back to your primary weapon, and away you go. If you duff a shot for any reason by landing one on the body and you lose your headhunter, then switch back to your Nemesis or your TAC 50, get another headshot, and then go back to your primary again. The whole point of using the heavy weapons to activate your chest piece is to skip the ramping up by stacking kills to get the chest piece full potential. If you use a heavy weapon like the TAC 50 or the Nemesis, you can get there in a single kill, and that damage is going to transfer back to your SRS or your D50 or any other weapon of your choice. Now, once you get all your memento trophies or some memento trophies, your one-shot kill capability is going to be more streamlined. But when you just log into the game and go out there and use this build and you don't have any trophies, you might find yourself putting out an extra shot with your TAC 50 before you can start chain killing those elites. Now, non-elites aren't going to be a problem for you. And because of how I structured this build, there are things that I want to showcase to you, which adds a ton to your survivability, whether you're playing from cover or not. One of them is how many shots you can get out consecutively in a short amount of time. It's really, really amazing. I can hit multiple targets twice before they can even react. My first shot sometimes will snap their head back, and before their head can recover in its neutral position, that second bullet is already entering the cranium. A lot of builds can't do that. It's a combination of the handling structure as well as the weapon choice. The weapon is just fast at rechambering that second round and recovering from its recoil. That's stability and weapon handling in general with that reload speed. But a lot of people think that stability doesn't really help snipers, but it does, especially in the weapon sway and really at getting consecutive shots out there because the recoil is less dramatic, which means you're gonna fall back to your neutral position, which is on their head faster. Also, take a look at my weapon swapping here. That's really fast, even when I'm rotating in that specialization weapon, which is notoriously slow. And since I'm using the TAC 50 a lot to power up the build to its full performance quickly, that makes me happy. And one of the reasons why I like weapon handling in this game. Okay, real quick, I also want to show you what the Nemesis can do. So when you encounter somebody like a Chunga, try to get a headshot kill on somebody else already, and then transfer that damage to the Chunga, and you should be able to take him down in 2 or 3 shots, depending on where you are with your Headhunter stack. When you run up against that Chunga, you might already have Headhunter activated, so all you need to do is just shoot him in the head with your Nemesis. But with helmeted guys like a Chunga, it's gonna take 2 shots. You need one to break his helmet, and then the second shot to kill him, maybe a 3rd shot, depending. So playing like the way I play out of cover with the sniper isn't easy to do. It's definitely an advanced way of sniping. I got the weapon handling on the build to support it, but what I know is that most of you aren't gonna be doing that. So I recommend using this scope, and that's gonna make you not only a lot stronger, but it's gonna give you the range that you need. Now, I really like the SRS, but if you're looking for more power and you are playing from cover, let me give you a couple of other suggestions. Now, I know the White Death is really popular because of how strong it is, and I like like it. It's one of my favorites. It gives you that extra headshot damage with its perfect roll, and you can run whatever talent you like. It's limited on mods, and it's got a really slow reload, so those are the downsides. But take a look at the hunting M44 if you haven't. This is a really, really good sniper. Very comparable to the White Death, but what it gives you is extra mod slots so that you can customize it to your play style more. So what the White Death can't do is give you more stability or more reloads. So this allows you to put double reload mods on here, where the White Death is only going to take one, and you're getting the stability at the loss of a little bit of damage, but you're not going to notice. This thing hits way harder than you need it to hit to chain kill on elites and heroic, with or without directives. You can put damage to targets out of cover if you want to, but like I said, these are very overpowered snipers. They hit hard. You don't actually need damage to targets out of cover. Magazine size gives me an extra round, which is an extra kill. So now I have 6 kills in the mag versus 5. So that's how I look at it. But if you just want more damage here, you can do that. Speaking of alternate, if you find it difficult to snipe in the Division 2, most think it is, look at Determined to give you a little bit of forgiveness. So once you have Determined activated, which is easy, it's the same mechanic. Now you can land a shot anywhere on the body of the enemy. As long as they're not wearing a helmet, you'll be able to chain kill off the chest or the big toe of any NPC, even if they're an elite, even with directives. So that's what Determined does for you. I think Determined makes the game a little bit more accurate. Most soldiers would go down with a round to the chest, or they would lose a limb if you hit them in the arm, which would take them out of combat. So that's my look at Determined. You could always use the Mantis as well. That's going to give you unlimited decoys. All you got to do is get a headshot to reset your decoy, and this weapon is very stable. It's the same thing as the SRS, but with the scope. This is the exotic version, so if you have it, try it. So if you're going to be playing from cover a lot, I would probably look to replace the 2-piece Bellstone. And then for the chest, I would probably run Habsburg. That's because Habsburg already comes with an armor core. It shouldn't be too hard to find handling and headshot damage on yours. And if you do this, it might open up an armor core somewhere else on your build. If you don't have the Emperor's Guard knee pads yet, then move your Golan over here instead. That opens up your holster for a lot of options. You can go Providence or even the Picaro's holster, and what you put there can either be a skill tier or an armor core. I'd probably go with the armor core since we're rolling into armor regen on this build. Bandidos, have you tried the SRS MMR sniper? What is your go-to sniper in the Division 2? Thank you for hanging out with me today. My name is TuxedoBandido, and this was another episode of The Division 2. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The Division 2. And if you like builds like this, check out the recommended build video I have here for you. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
Follow me.
I get it.